What's up, baseball players? I'm Coach Dan Blewett. In today's video, let's talk about how to keep hitters off balance. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan. I'm a former pro pitcher, and in today's video, we'll talk about tempo changes, eye level changes, rhythm changes, all these different things that will help you as a pitcher keep hitters off balance. Okay, so first tip here in how to keep hitters off balance is changing eye level, but there's a couple things I want to mention. So changing eye level means you throw a couple pitches down low, then you come with one up high. A lot of times this might be curveballs or sliders that break down low, and then you raise their eye level with a fastball. Obviously, we all know that pitches high in the zone, they look really good to hit because they're eye level, so we can see them well, but hitters also really struggle to get the barrel up and get on top of the ball in time, so they often swing later, pop it up, right? So we know that going up the ladder with hard stuff, not slow stuff, can be really effective. But here's the thing. You don't want to change eye level and start throwing pitches up here that are out of the strike zone before you have some strikes in the at-bat. If you throw this pitch on 0-0 or 1-0, for example, and you're saying, oh, well, I want to throw high first and then change his eye level going down, if the hitter takes this pitch, it's going to be a ball, right? Pretty much 100% of the time, unless you have a terrible umpire. So you don't want to throw pitches that they have to swing at to get a strike when you don't have strikes in the count, because then that's going to risk you falling behind pretty early, and hitters are pretty selective early. So save the elevation for when you've got one strike or preferably two strikes. That way they're forced to start to swing at stuff that's out of the zone. They have to expand the strike zone. So you definitely want to change eye level. That could mean two curveballs down and then a fastball up. That could mean, on 0-1, a fastball up and then two curveballs down. Changing eye level is extremely effective for keeping hitters off balance, but you just need to know when to use the high fastball appropriately. Don't use it before you get at least one strike. All right, the next way to keep hitters off balance as a pitcher is to break pitches both in and out. This is why you always want to learn a changeup, because a changeup is going to run to your arm side, whereas sliders, curveballs, and cutters break glove side. So without learning a changeup, you're never going to have a pitch that really reliably moves to the arm side that's off speed. You could throw a two-seamer or a sinker that breaks arm side, but that's not an off-speed pitch. You always want to have an off-speed pitch that breaks both ways. That way, say you're a righty and I'm a righty hitter, and you're throwing me slider, 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 and they're all breaking away, I don't have anything that makes me be honest about a pitch coming inside. I can start to cheat away knowing that the only pitch you could get in here is a fastball, essentially. But when you throw a changeup that's going to break into me, and say you throw a nice back foot changeup that starts here and breaks down here, now I've got to have, when I see that pitch release out of your hand, I've got to watch it longer to pick up what pitch that might be if I see spin. And I can't just make that snap decision that, oh, this guy only throws sliders and they always break away. Therefore, as soon as I see that spin, I can start to dive and punch it to the opposite field. I've got to stay honest because it might break in or it might break out. So having an arsenal where you have a changeup that has some movement and a breaking pitch that breaks away, that's a really good way to help keep hitters honest and keep them off balance. All right, the next way to keep hitters off balance is by changing speeds. But let's talk about some of the more advanced ways to do that. So obviously just changing speeds makes it hard, right? So you throw a curveball that's down, that's 70 miles per hour. Then you throw a fastball that's 85 miles per hour. That's a tough speed change to go back on. But here's two advanced ways to think about this. Number one is doubling up pitches. So if you throw curveball, now I'm kind of really tuned into that curveball speed because I've seen two in a row and I haven't seen a fastball in a couple pitches. Therefore, when you throw that next fastball, when I've seen 70, then I see 85, it's going to make me more likely to be late or to swing and miss. So doubling up pitches is going to have a better sort of speed changing effect. The thing is, you have to just be careful. When you start to throw three curveballs in a row or three changeups in a row, that pitch has got to be really, really excellent for them to start to miss on that third one. So be careful. It's not typically a great idea to throw three breaking pitches in a row or four breaking pitches in a row. It happens sometimes. Sometimes it does make sense for the situation. But in general, doubling up is the right thing to do to get hitters off a pitch, right? Whether that's you want them to get off your fastball, so you throw them two curveballs and then come back to the fastball. But three or four, just be careful with that. The next speed change technique is to use effective velocity, sometimes called perceived velocity, well, which means pitches away seem slower because I can wait longer and still barrel them up. Pitches inside seem faster because I've got to get my bat head farther out in front to hit it on the barrel. So therefore, if you throw change up away, The biggest effective speed change you could make would be a fastball that comes up and in on the next pitch. That's because I've got to get my barrel way out in front and up to make contact, which means I essentially have to have a swing that starts a little sooner, or I've got to have really fast hands to catch up to it. So using effective velocity, again, which just basically means pitches inside are seem faster and pitches up seem faster. And so the combination of up and in is going to make that fastball you throw the fastest version of it. And a breaking ball or change up, something slow, something off speed, low and away is going to be the slowest version of it. So the biggest potential speed change you could make would be like a change up or curveball away, followed by a fastball up and in. So that's a really advanced and smart way to use your speed changes. The next way as a pitcher to keep hitters off balance is to change your timing as a pitcher. And there's a couple ways to do this. Number one, you can just hold the ball a little longer when you're on the rubber. You know, when you get the sign, number one, it's good to be fast in how quickly you work. So get the ball back, get your sign, and keep moving. That sort of makes hitters off balance in the sense that they don't have time to get out and fiddle with their gloves so much and do all their routine. They have to be on your timing. So you working fast as a pitcher is a good way to keep them off balance because, again, they don't get to like really take their time and romance all of it, right? But even when you do that, sometimes they can get a groove because they know you get the ball back and they get ready and they're in sync with you. So when you step off sometimes just to sort of break everyone's rhythm, that can be a really effective thing. This is especially effective when you feel like they're on you. And one of the best examples in a way that I use this a lot was on 3 and 2 counts. A lot of times in a 3 and 2 count, when there's not like a critical situation, you're probably just going to throw fastballs until the at bat ends a lot of times because you know that, it's not a huge, I don't have to punch this guy out. And maybe I don't throw my curveball for strikes that much. So I don't really want to risk walking him on a 3-2 curveball, even though he's fouled a couple fastballs off. So I'm just going to like stay the course and just pound fastballs and try to locate one until he puts it in play. That's a strategy that pitchers use quite a lot. So when that happens, when you feel like, but you know what, I've thrown 3 fastballs and he just keeps fouling them off, what you can do is, get your sign, come set, take a long time, just wait. And if he doesn't call time, then pitch, or come set, wait, then step off, then get back on, go through it all again. Take some extra time to break the hitter's rhythm because if he's feeling good and he's getting close and he keeps foul tipping you, when you can just change the whole bat's tempo and introduce that like 20 or 30 second gap because you took a while and stepped off, that's really going to break his rhythm. And now maybe that fastball sneaks by him or he's just a little bit off and he puts it in play and grounds out. So that's a good technique to think about, how you can change your tempo as a pitcher to sort of put him back in an uncomfortable off-balance position. The next thing you can do, piggybacking off of what we just said about stepping off and all that, is throwing over to first base. This is another thing to do. So again, say it's like a 2-2 count or a 3-2 count and they just keep fouling you off and there's a runner on first base, you can just pick off and then you get the ball back, take your time, pick off again, you get the ball back, take your time. And now, again, you've introduced that 30-second gap that's really slowed him down, where now his timing is going to sort of reset because he hasn't seen a pitch in like a minute or two, right? So that's another way to keep hitters off balance. And the last way that you can keep hitters off balance, and this is going to pertain more to the stretch than from, say, the windup, because I really don't recommend this for amateur pitchers from the windup, but it's to sort of quick pitch the hitter. And what I mean by this is basically because you still have to come set and you have to pause, right? So you can't like just come set and just go. You're always going to have some amount of pause to not balk. But what you can do is when you're from the stretch is say you're going full leg kick on each pitch and he keeps fouling it off and he feels like he's in a rhythm with you. What you can do is just, even though there might not be a runner who's a stealing threat, you could just slide step him real quick. And because that quicker timing, the hitter's not ready for it, that's a good way to get them off balance when they're up at bat. So say you have runners on second and third where they can't really steal, or you have the bases loaded and you still prefer to go from the stretch. You can mix up your full leg kick because no one's going to steal and your slide step just to keep hitters off balance if you're comfortable with that. I don't recommend doing that if it's going to impact your command negatively. Like if you're not really good going back and forth from one to the next, it's probably not a good idea because you should always prioritize making a quality pitch and being comfortable rather than being tricky. But if you're very comfortable with that and you want to mix in a slide step just to get the hitter off balance, it's a smart thing to do. So consider other ways that you could change tempos, but what I don't really suggest is having like a really fast version of the windup because that's something that you're not going to use that often, and that's probably going to throw you off. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video on how to keep hitters off balance. If you're new here, definitely subscribe to the channel. Check out my online pitching books, my mental training book called This Slump Shall Pass, my online pitching courses, and these other resources in the description below that can help you improve as a baseball player. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.